Hello and welcome back to Olivia's Mindful Gardens and Plants. Today we're going to look at dahlias, in particular these tubers. For those of you who joined me in my last video, I had been potting up dahlia seedlings, and please do watch that video. But I also gave you a sneak peek at these tubers. So these Dahlia tubers came from individual seedlings. So this was one seedling and this was another. There is a noticeable size difference. They were in the same bed with the same compost and manure, lots of manure, and they were dug up in February, early February, and washed and then put indoors because I wanted to plant these elsewhere. Now this is one variety. I have no idea what variety it was, but I'm hoping these will grow again and then we'll try and find out what they were. They were just little seedlings that I had bought on the off chance, and this was another variety. One was yellow and one was a deep burgundy colour, single flowers. I'm so excited because when I dug these up, I was not expecting the size that we have before us. They are super firm, and they are also, of course, sprouting. So they are already growing, and all I have done is kept them in a bucket with no soil, nothing, just somewhere dark, whilst I had some time to pot these up. Now generally these particular ones were potted straight into soil, but I tend to put my tubers in pots and I let them grow and establish in pots, because I have lots of slugs and snails, and I find that when you have them in pots you can place them up high, and sometimes it's not worth their effort to make the long climb to have a nibble at these. So I will be putting them again in pots, and I'll show you how to do this shortly. I have other dahlias. This is my tiny little shed in my garden. These were taken up in November. I washed them and stored them in my shed. This is the first time I'm unwrapping these. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So just let this all fall. So I do have these bulbs as well, and I'll talk about them in another video. I'll just move them away. So here they are. These are the other dahlias that I have, and these were bought in the garden centre. Some of them are quite soft. I don't think they've made it through. This one is quite firm. This is quite firm. When the bulbs, tubers are soft, they're not going to establish. So I'm going to have a really good look at these and see which ones can be salvaged. But I am so pleased that these ones, which were treated very differently, have survived, but in the ground, and the others were in a pot. So I'm not sure whether that had any bearing on how well they did. So I'm going to now get the pots ready and plant them up. Okay, here we are. I found a pot that is big enough to take these. Now I know you can take these apart and plant them individually, but that would take a little bit of time, and to be quite honest, I don't mind having a huge plant rather than lots of little plants. So I'm going to pop these in this pot and see how it gets on. I will keep them indoors just for a little bit longer in this pot. So I have taken some of them away because this one here, and if you can see, has got some growth there. So I'll put that in its individual pot and see how that gets on. So we'll do this one as a single, and then we'll pop these at another point. I'll leave them for a bit longer, and we'll plant the main ones now. Okay, so let me just move these ones out of the way. So I have the compost here. So it's normal multi-purpose compost. Again, I have put perlite in it. I find that a lot of things grow better with good drainage. It's not necessary for all plants. It's certainly not necessary for dahlias, but it's just a personal preference. Give it a go. You might notice the difference, or you may not, but it's worth a try. So here they are in their pot. I'm going to make sure these little straggly roots are down. I could have cut them off, but just for quickness I will tuck these in and just cover everything with the compost. The other thing is, with the perlite, it gets in nicely to all the crevices. Now, don't worry about putting it right in the center. This is its temporary home. I tend to put these in a more pretty pot for the summer, again because I like to move pots around just every so often. It's just fun to do, so that you feel like your garden looks different week on week or month on month. And then of course dahlias, sometimes they take center stage in high summer, when they all bloom. So beautiful, lots of colours and varieties. So I have left the small growth just poking out at the top. I'm going to water this using rainwater, and that's just purely because I think that plants do better with rainwater, because I live in a hard water area, and I tend to find that plants don't do as well. Of course, that's not to say that it's going to harm them completely, but I just have that as a personal preference. Sometimes of course it's unavoidable because we do have droughts in the UK, and sometimes we just have to use the water straight from the hose pipe without choice. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to water this in and place this inside. Right, I have found another pot for the smaller Dahlia tubers. I've run out of perlite, so I have to get some more of that. But I'll just fill up this pot. Every so often give it a shake so the soil gets in between all the tuber. Be interesting to see if the perlite made any difference between the two, but of course they are different types of dahlia, so be interesting to see. So I will leave this one as well, water it in and leave it indoors for a little while until everything starts to sprout nicely and grows to about, I don't know, 9 to 10 inches, and then I will transfer them into larger pots. I did put in the smaller one in another pot. I saved most of my pots, those that I think will be most useful, and these longer ones do help when you have long tubers that need to just sit within the pot. Again, we'll see how this one gets on, because you remember it had the small growth at the top. So in the next couple of weeks we'll revisit this to see how they're doing. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do subscribe, because I'll be potting and gardening more regularly now, because we are really in the full swing of growing season. The temperatures here in London are slowly rising. So I'm looking forward to sharing my journey with you. So please do subscribe to me. That's Olivia's Mindful Garden and Plants, and I look forward to seeing you all or joining you all next time. Thank you.